day, whether that's through influencers, through our own page posts, through Facebook advertising, Snapchat, YouTube reviews, things of that nature. So
Holy crap.
we're hitting people so much that if we were to micromanage every single piece, you'd lose. So we're happy and we're comfortable to take a small loss in order to win the big game, the war at the end. So lose the small battle to win, I suppose, the war at the end.
That's cool. Okay, that's great. All right. So then what's your main focus as the owners of the business? I know we're going a bit off topic here, but what's
myself
your
and Nick
brief?
have we're very attentive to every single role in the entire business. I don't care how micro or macro it is, but myself and Nick really like to get hands on everywhere. Not so much, but we like to look at whether that's the sending out the warehouse, the dispatch department, or whether that's marketing, or whether that's casual, every single part of it. And because of that, it's very easy for us to grow positions, to grow roles, because we understand first and foremost how to really do it first.
Yes.
Instead of from day one, I just want to give this off to this company because they like, that's the easier. You're not in it for the long game, clearly, where the different approach should be like, I want to understand everything, because only then can you really pass it on.
That's it.
And even when you do pass it on, I'm still very engaged in understanding every aspect. So I think that's a important thing, starting out in whether, at the beginning, if you're 2 years down, if you're 5, 10 years, it doesn't matter. You have to engage entirely from the top down.
Okay, so that's your brief. So even if you grow to 100 staff, you will be like, will you be involved in the recruitment, say, of every single person in your business?
But I want to understand every piece of the puzzle.
Okay. Yep.
It doesn't mean every piece of content goes out. I have to, but
yes, okay.
I do pay attention everywhere. That's the thing.
Yes.
Pay attention very closely.
I think the most important is to make sure, like what Alex said, before we delegate, we understand. So we understand what we expect from customer care, because I can't relay a message onto someone, or if we've got a manager who manages a lot of the day-to-day tasks, which we just can't get to as we're growing and scaling, and sort of limits your growth if you're trying to get involved in those areas. But what we do make sure is everybody understands the brand and what the brand stands for. And the one thing that we make sure is either ourselves, we must understand, as well as the manager must understand what everyone's intentions are here, and that they're clearly outset from the start. Does someone want to start a business inside the next 12 months? That's cool. Does someone want to go on a holiday 5 times a year? That's cool. Not everyone's going to be the same. I think the cookie cutter method of the old days of every single person likes working 9 to 5, every single person is career orientated.
Yes.
Is dead.
Yes.
And that's why we're winning as opposed to some other businesses, because every single person here is positive. If you look out the window, we've got Buddha with a yin and yang. Like, we're just about balance, positivity, smiling, happiness, people coming in and expressing themselves, not having to necessarily like, these are our mantras, this is what we stand by, but it's like, you be the best version of yourself. If you fit in, you're going to fit in fine. If all of a sudden you don't feel comfortable and you can't express yourself, then it's not the place for you.
Yes.
So that's what we stand for.
That's good. And getting about your message across, how often do you have those conversations? Like with your whole team, how often do you like constantly pushing out, reminding people of who you are? Yes, you live it. It's very obvious that you live it. And the social media side, like you can physically go on Facebook or Instagram and see it. Mm-hmm. But how often do you actually verbally sit in a room and go, this is what we believe in?
Yeah, I think it's not as black and white as that.
Okay.
Very rarely do we go, this is what we believe. It's more the actions. And also I think what's very undervalued in business is not the half an hour-long meetings. It's the 2-minute chats.
Yeah. But it's a 24
2-minute
hour
chat, 1 minute chat. Hey, how are you? What'd you get up to? Okay, I understand. It's like, it's a skill that you must have either as a director or a manager or someone at the top. If you got to deal with people, you actually have to give a shit. I can't pretend I care. Like we were saying before, like I have to be authentic with everything I do. If I don't care, I don't care. I actually have to care, and I love people. Like I love being around people. That's what makes me happy. So I genuinely care what Justin got up to on the weekend or what Katie did last night. Like I'm not asking that because I ticked the box and I like, yeah, good. I know I pleased them. It's not that. Like I genuinely care, and I show that by speaking to every single person on a day-to-day basis, I think. Rather than, I think a lot of people go, oh, I had 6 meetings this week, so perfect. I caught up with all of them. It's like, but did you really care? What'd you cover? Did you add value to them? It's like, yeah, we're the owners of the business, but it's about us adding value to them.
Absolutely.
Secondary is what they're going to add to us. If we add value to them and we care about them, they'll be with you the long 100%. And they're going to when you say jump, they're going to jump because it's a team jumping together. It's not like I'm doing this because it's my job. I actually care about them and they actually care about me in return. So.
No, I think that's really valuable. And I think too, if you're talking to them all the time, you can sense, like, I think because we're primarily in the people business, we see it ourselves. We can sense if someone's off or even they might be normal in the first half of the day and then something's happened and you're like, whoa, what's happened? Is it a phone call?
But you can only see that if you truly care.
If you truly care, you'll pick it up.
Like,
yes.
There's no tick box. It's not like, oh, so how do you... It's just if you truly care, if you truly are engaged in everything you do, you'll find that you'll understand little changes in people or your business, whatever it is. But if you truly care.
Oh no, that's good. I've got to ask a question again, totally off what we're going to talk about, but it's about the recruitment side. Is there one question that you ask people when that you know?
Not a question, but I'll tell you the trick to it. We conversate, and we truly find what that person stands for on a personal level. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what in our first meeting, the most important thing we do, we conversate with that person and we truly see how are they as a person, first and foremost, before anything. And I think from that, we really get a proper understanding of what that person stands for, how they are as a person, and do they fit the culture that we stand for, which is positivity, happiness, and self-motivation. So, and the only way you can get that is conversating.
I could kiss you right now because I'm dead serious. If I could share that with everybody, that's the biggest thing we say is people, they're so stuck with interviewing. It's like, no, you actually have to, if you don't understand you need to understand that person, what motivates. 100%. And we had, to get our guy in Manila, we had 6 interviews.
Okay.
But the first interview was, here's the brief on us. You can find out here's where Efren's screwed up and where you're going to really find him irritating and where you're going to find me irritating. Yeah. It's all in writing. You've got a 17-page brief. You understand where we're going. But our first interview was with 6 people. It was all about, we were going to ask one question. Yep. And they all knew that. One question. Tell me about you and what makes you tick. What makes you get up in the morning? What do you do outside of work? Tell us about your family. And Fred was the first guy we interviewed. And we knew, even though you're not meant to, go the first person. He was the first person.
You can feel it.
He was like, regardless of what happens, thick or thin, we know this guy is the same as us.
Yeah, yeah.
And I always say, if I'm going to work 18-hour days, I need someone who I can look at who's happy and positive.
And and fit.
And energetic.
Yeah, you know.
And fits with you. I don't care how great. I always talk to companies about that. It's not about how the technical side, or even if they're great at everything, if they have a personality that doesn't mesh with yours or value systems are different,
that's what I mean.
It's never going to work.
That's the thing. The value system has to be the same. Not the same, but fit within.
Fit within, yes.
And not like, okay, I believe in it, but rather, how do you represent yourself? Are you always representing yourself, or are you and maintaining that positivity and that you sticking by what you stand for?
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm really glad. Thank you. That's honestly, I wish I could preach this to the world.
But it's a simple thing. It's a simple method to just simply conversate.
Conversate. Yeah, can I steal that word?
Yeah.
I'm going to seriously steal that word. Okay, cool.
It's a unique tactic. Yeah.
It is a unique. Can I ask you where you learnt that from?
From understanding people. From just understanding, wanting to understand people. But how do you understand people? By
knowing how we operate.
Okay.
Some people are really, really good at interviews. As in, some people are really, really good. Same thing we spoke about with the talking. Some people are really well-trained presenters, but sometimes they're not engaging. You just can't resonate. There's something about them. He presented well. He did everything that school tells you should do. He had a PowerPoint presentation, eye contact, knew his talk, presented well, dressed well, but there's something off. And it's that gap, that gray zone, which we're the masters at, that we play in. We play more in the grey zone rather than the black and the white, because the black and the white is face value. It's what people are saying, whereas we look at what people are doing and the actions.
And this is where all the big organizations are playing in that black and white. They've got that checkbox. You have to tick this. Do you have this? Have you done this before? Blah, 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 blah. That is the most rubbish way to ever do an interview because you are not finding out about anything about that person or
That's it.
in any way that's going to value your business, but you're thinking that you've mastered the way to, you're so wrong. It's such a wrong mentality.
That's it.
Not only, like, that's how we treat everything across the board in the business. And that gives us so much leverage because we play so much in that gray zone and we're comfortable to play further in the gray zone. So, and that's where big organizations are really having trouble. It's like, if you have such a big organization, how do you now play on this new platform that doesn't show return on investment, that doesn't do this, that doesn't give me concrete answers? It's like, because of that, you're going to lose. And because we're comfortable in playing there, we are exceeding everybody else because we're so comfortable to do that. And I think that's the big key that some big organizations, not all, that some big organizations are really getting themselves stuck.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Oh, yes. Excellent. Now back to probably social. Sorry about that. Without giving away your secrets, what's the secret recipe for building a loyal following, getting people to like your posts? Is there a secret recipe that you've uncovered?
Yeah, so it's along the same lines of what we spoke about. So first, it's understanding your brand and what you stand for and making sure your posting strategy and your content relates to that. Not relates to the product.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to relate to the product. It relates to your top message. Like, keep asking why. So why, what do we stand for? Why, like, what is the brand HiSmile about? It's not just teeth whitening. Like, uncover what you're trying to get through, because just selling teeth whitening is limited. And you're not going to build a following. People will buy the product once and they're not going to stay around. You need to build a following. So understand the why behind your company, why you're doing it. So the lifestyle, the positivity, that message, making sure that relates. And then making sure you also understand your target market and what they want to see. So in a world of like memes and things like that, you're scrolling through all these memes, you're tagging funny posts. How does your brand relate again to that? So how does your content get engagement? How does it get people talking? And ultimately, how do you get people to follow you?
Yes.
Because then if you've got the skill, you're going to ultimately convert them as a customer or make them a part of the brand, part of the message. Sometimes people don't purchase from us. They support us. They go to war for us. They're responding to customers' messages even before they've bought. And for us, that's as good as a customer. That's someone who is a customer. It's not about getting the dollar value, because that's going to come. It's about getting someone who truly believes in what you believe. So, and you do that by sticking for what your brand stands for at the very top level, and then making sure you know how to break that noise. So not putting out content that you think's good, but testing a lot of content and seeing what hits with others.
What your followers.
So the secret recipe to find out what your followers are really into, as we said before, we put well over 100 pieces of content daily. Now from that, what are we addicted in? We're not so addicted into the content that we're pushing, but we're so addicted in the reaction that every single piece of content gets.
Okay.
And we build ourselves further based on, okay, what's really working? Because we're pushing so much, we can then understand, okay, this works, and like, let's push even more here. And we understand what really works. And to that, we're comfortable in sometimes losing and not pushing the best piece of content. And we figure out, okay, not to go down that road. And from that, that's where we can really understand so much more about our customer, because we're pushing so much and we're really putting the content out for them to relate to and engage with. And
No, that's really interesting, because I use a like CoSchedule, where you can schedule your posts, and it's really interesting. Maybe I shouldn't have said the brand, but they talk about you only meant to post a maximum of 8 things a day. Yeah, that's how I've interpreted it. I could be wrong because it's another company, and so I wasn't sure about that. But I'm pretty sure, maybe I've read somewhere, 8 pieces of content a day. So this is like, for me, mind blowing, because I'm like, and then that makes sense, because how can you analyze what's working on 8 pieces? You can't.
No, that's the thing. People have this, like, when the reason why a lot of people put out this, like, if I look up secret source of social media, and they'll give you these tactics: post X amount of times a day on Instagram, use this many influencers at these times, this type of photo. It's like, maybe that worked for you, but does it work with me for my brand? I don't know. I have to test it. Like, I can't tell you. Yeah, you might have some people. It's super valuable. We say post 100. Sometimes scarcity wins. Yes. Sometimes.
Yep.
A lot of the time, scarcity wins. If you think about it, when a brand I'm trying to think of a brand on the top of my head, but if a
Shoot, if they
brand
bring a
holds
limited shoe.
back,
A limited shoe.
holds
Yep.
back on bringing out a product like Yeezys with the Adidas shoes, scarcity wins.
Yes.
Only this many. When I was a kid, I played football. There was these carbon fiber Nike boots. They sold them for like $1,000 a pair, $500 to $1,000 a pair, which was ridiculous. But it sold out because there was 2,000 made, and your boot said 1 of 2,000 or 2 of 2,000.
Wow.
So that's where
Oh my
scarcity
God.
wins. So
I want those boots.
the same time we're saying post it 100 times a day,
That may
it's
not
the
be
same
right.
time
Yeah.
you might just post once a
You
day
have
and
to
get
know
the
what-
value.
Yeah, you have to know what you're after. And what-
What do
Yeah.
you want to achieve? Do you
What
want to
do you
achieve
wanna achieve?
engagement? What's your brand stand for? Some people ask a lot of questions like, a giveaway is good. Is it good to do? It's like, it's good to do discounts so that you can manage ROI on the promoter, blah, blah, blah. It's like, do what suits your brand. Is your brand,
Yes.
are you able to discount your brand? I don't know if you've got enough in the margin to discount. I can't give you advice based on that. What does your brand stand for? Does it devalue your brand if you give a discount? So I think it's up to the individual.
Okay.
But if you look at top line, it's what your brand truly stands for. Yeah.
And so with the analysis piece, when you're saying you're looking at the content and working out how often do you do that? Is it every day or is it once a week where you look back, or like how do you analyze that?
We just pay
How often?
attention and just really myself and Nick, we look
Yeah.
very much over the course of the entire business. Okay, how much a week? And then each team and each area have their thing that they look for.
Yes.
But the biggest thing you just have to pay attention
Just have
to
to pay
everything
attention.
happening. Pay close attention. Don't be too romantic about the exact piece of content. Is it going to be the perfect piece? But rather be really attentive to the reaction of everything.
Of what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where you really have to be romantic and play with that. Play with the attention.
So what's been your worst ever post or worst ever campaign, in your opinion? And why? Have you had one?
I don't know. I don't think we've had the worst ever post, because I don't think that exists unless you did something that was like that discriminated against something. Like
Yeah,
if you
okay.
like we try not to go into touchy subjects.
Yes.
We stand for something, but we don't get involved with these political debates or
Yes.
racial side of things and things like that. We're for everyone, and we stand for whoever stands for our message, regardless
Yes.
of where they're from. So,
Yes. Okay.
but we've had campaigns that haven't been successful just because we had the wrong mindset. So, for example, on YouTube, when we started YouTube, we started it because we wanted to, obviously, it's the second largest search engine after Google. It's visual, which Google isn't. So we're a visual product, we're a visual brand. There was an advantage there. But what we did there was we sort of went against what we were about everywhere else, and we pushed
Okay.
product. Whereas when we reverse engineered and started putting time into it, like I said, we test a lot of these platforms. You might put 1 hour a week into it, and that was YouTube for us. So it was out there testing it. So through the testing process is where we didn't do so well.
Yes.
And obviously, unless you, with some of these platforms, it's not that they're crap platforms, it's that your strategy sometimes sucks.
Yes.
And we realized that. We had a chat about YouTube, and it's like, okay, let's reverse engineer, let's work back. What we have to do is add value to people. Why would someone want to see our product on our channel? They don't really. You get sort of sick of it. It becomes repetitive. You can't post 100 pieces of videos about your product.
Yes.
So what we did was we introduced a beauty corner where we now review other products. We don't review our product. We review
Really?
clothing companies. We review skincare products, cosmetic products, products that relate to our inner circle, products that relate to our target
Absolutely.
market. So
Okay.
people are now coming to us for the honest opinion, the honest advice. Brands are now sending us free products to do what the influencers are doing.
So you're now an influencer.
In a way, HiSmile is the
This is
place
awesome.
to go for your beauty knowledge and beauty. I suppose it's like a bit of a database of all these products, all these brands, for an honest review from people who aren't professionals. We're not professional beauty bloggers. We're not professional makeup artists, but we're just like the everyday person
Yes.
who has similar interests and values to us.
Yes.
And we're going to test products on their behalf, so then they have value
That's
from
awesome.
HiSmile. So we've reverse engineered that, and we've seen quite big growth in our account lately. So we started with obviously 0, and now we've got 7,000 followers within the first few months.
Wow.
And that's without backing it with too much budget. We haven't really
Yep.
used advertising yet, which we're slowly getting into. We're putting a bit more budget behind our videos because we're seeing that it works and the strategy makes sense to us. And yeah, so that's I suppose not a crappy post, but a crappy strategy that we had.
Yeah, but
the
you
wrong
turned it
mindset.
around. What
Exactly.
about the most successful campaign? Is there one in particular that would stand out? Or post?
I wouldn't say there's it's like a combination of everything. Like people say, oh, Kylie Jenner, is she successful when you work with her? It's like, yeah, but she's only as good as what you do. Like she's as important as the 1,000 other influencers that only have 10,000 followers.
Okay.
Like there's legitimacy. There's benefits, like there's benefits in both ends, pulling at both ends of the spectrum, the super high end influencer and the low end influencer.
Yes.
The big budget video that gets 1,000, 2,000 shares, and the small one that only gets a few shares. Like they're all as beneficial as each other. But we've had a successful post recently is the brand video on our Facebook. So if you go to the top of our Facebook, it's pinned there. That has got something like 20 something million views.
Holy
And that
crap.
was just created by all of the data that we've collected, all the content we've collected over the past 2 years from our influencers on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all their posts, as well as a few shoots that we did in the meantime. And we put that together into one 45-second clip with catchy music, bright poppy colors. HiSmile's mentioned, not mentioned what the product is, but the brand name's mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gone off. That's gone crazy. And funny enough, it was Air Max Day for Nike not long ago, and their video was like that. It was that. Like if you saw their video, it's like that. But it's good.
You're like,
that's,
pay me.
it's also yeah. It's good that like it works. So.
Yeah, big brands are paying attention to what other people are doing.
Exactly. So it was awesome.
You're on the... Okay, that's awesome. On a small business point of view, there's all these people that go, I'm a digital media specialist, right? Or I'm a social media specialist. And what you see is small businesses, they're paying a fortune to these external companies to create or design or come up with their strategy, whatever. And quite frankly, I think it's bullshit. And I think a lot of people are getting fleeced. Like, I really actually believe that. But, and I know this was back further down, but what I'm really curious to know is if a business, whether it's a startup or an existing business, is looking for some help, how would you determine who was not bullshitting you and not?
I think you've got to use. I think
Do
they
it.
they
You gotta
deserve
do
to
it
be
first.
taken.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to do it.
Because you are clearly not in it for the long run. You are clearly in it for a short-term game. You stand for nothing, and it's like, I just want to pass it all on.
It's laziness.
And that's
It's
being
like,
brutally honest. I'm going to be super...
This is awesome.
And the only way you can truthfully do it is by doing it. And by understanding you have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care your age. I don't like, oh, but I'm too old to know. So, well, you're lazy and you don't care and you're going to lose.
Like mathematics isn't second nature to us. Finance
brutal.
is second nature to us. Like if we lose money because we're not managing our cash flow, that's bad luck to us. Like it's the same question asking us, like, how do you know the accountant's not bullshitting you? By understanding what he's talking to you about.
Yes.
You have to understand the terminology, the words that he's, or get him to speak your language
Yes.
in order to understand. Manage your cash flow on a day-to-day basis. That's like something that the millennials struggle with because it's not second nature. We've got calculators. Things are done for us. It's like bad luck. If we lose in that game, that's my fault. I'm okay with being ripped off by a mechanic because I'm willing to take that cost because I don't see the value in saving a couple $100 and my time invested into that. So it's up to you. Do you see value in you getting ripped off, whatever it is, for social media expertise and not understanding it? It's up to you. Like, where's the value line? Like, I don't see value in the mechanic, in me learning about a car. I'm okay. I accept that I'm okay with being ripped off. But I think where social media goes wrong, people don't see it in that same light and they don't think they're being ripped off and they think it's working, but they don't truly understand. And they don't put that on the same value as what I'm saying with the mechanic situation or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far out. That's so true. Cool. Now, this is a question that I posed to you, Nick. So I'm going to ask you again for our audience. Teeth whitening, most would say, lends itself to social media. Other industries like accounting or legal may not. What do you say to that? To those companies that say that?
I agree 100% that teeth whitening lends itself, like I said, it's a visual product, and it does go hand in hand with social media. But in saying that the others don't fit and that you can't play on social media, I think that's incorrect. I think the one question you have to ask is your target market on that platform? And the answer is yes. You said your mother, who's 60-something, is going to buy a product. I don't know if she's on social media.
I'm buying it.
But you're buying the product. But there are 60, 70-year-olds.
She'll keep buying it if it works. Trust me.
There are 60 to 70-year-olds on Facebook.
Yes.
There's a massive audience.
She's on Facebook.
There's a massive 60
even on,
to 70.
Even on Snapchat, there's 50-year-olds using Snapchat, Instagram.
Yeah.
So if your audience is there, that's the first step. That's acknowledging that the attention is there. Then it's like, okay, what content do you put out? It's easy for you. It's visual, blah, blah, blah. It's like, back to that, how do you add value to them and what do you stand for? Like I said about the consulting and the
we're talking about recruitment
Yeah,
business.
it's like, how do you put out content for that? Are you going to say, here, I'm going to give you a free pass? It's like a free so
I think what we were talking about originally, you were talking about like use it as an education piece.
Yeah,
so you were saying do little videos on, top 10 questions someone's going to ask you in an interview.
Perfect
offer value.
Because I think what a lot of people do is like, back to teeth whitening, it's like a lot of people put their product out, sensitivity free, $79.99, and they just state what they're about. And at that point in time, they don't care about HiSmile teeth whitening or their teeth. It's like at that point in time, they don't care about your service. If you're an accountant, they don't care about that just yet. It's like, okay, here's how you can save $100 a week. I'm interested because I'm a millennial. I don't have that much money. I want to save $100 a week. They've targeted me on Facebook with a good video that fits. If that video doesn't hit, maybe it's not the information. Maybe it's the way you presented it. Maybe you need someone younger. So it's like, it's about playing, testing, and not just selling your product and service from the beginning, because that's the easiest thing to do. Sell what you're about and sell what they're going to be interested in.
But they are right. If you just sell like your financial service, obviously you're going to lose. The same way if we just sold teeth whitening, we would also lose. You have to play and really learn to understand, okay, what do you stand for and how do you represent that first? What does your brand stand for?
No, that's good. Okay.
And how can you offer value?
How can you offer value?
How can you first offer them value?
Before they...
Like, to get their attention, you have to offer them some sort of value. You have to mimic, you have to be like them, you have to talk in it, but you need to represent value and what your brand stands for.
So with you guys, have you tracked, you know how you said you've got customers who will fight for you on social media that haven't even bought your product yet? What's the normal conversion rate? How long do you know what that is? Like how someone they'd follow you before they go, yeah, I'm gonna purchase that, or is it just so erratic that you can't?
But it's something we don't.
You don't measure
on. If you look on a macro level, HiSmile as a whole wins because of that.
Yes.
That video I said got probably I think 25 to 30 million views. We don't have 25 to 30 million customers.
Yes.
But down the line, if we're doing the right thing, that could potentially be the number.
Yeah.
Potentially not even 1% is interested in HiSmile, but that's okay. Another piece of content. We don't look at it from a sprinter's point of view, like the short-term gain. We look at it as a marathon and a long-distance thing, the sum total of everything, and just analyze. The one thing we do focus on a cash flow perspective is the money going out is swallowed by the money coming in. And that's all that matters.
Okay.
For a business.
Yeah.
Everything else fluctuates, it flows. Sometimes the money...
As a whole.
Yeah.
As
a whole. So for month to month, year to year, week to week, however you want to manage it day to day, the money going out is swallowed by the money coming in. In the marathon perspective, in the long run, you've got a successful business.
So right now, everything comes out of Gold Coast. Is that right?
Yeah.
Everything comes out.
Yeah.
When I heard you guys speak, you said you wanted to be a $1 billion company in 2 years.
Yep.
I remember you said 2. Okay, I don't even know if you can talk about that, but like I'm quite lost. I'm not quite sure how you make that jump. Is it that you've got to then be positioned globally as well to be able to make that sort of money?
The reason why we can do it is because we know every single part of the business. Like I was saying before, we know every fine micro detail needed to know to expand this to as big as we want. And because we put in the yards of me and Nick personally wanting to understand everything. And now for us to grow, it's very, very, very easy. Okay. Within 6 months, we can grow to as big as we want.
Okay.
Within a year, we can, there is no limit to how big we can go. We can open up international, very easily because we have the foundation set so in place because we paid attention, because we wanted to know everything, because we knew that there's going to be a time, okay, it's got, we're always playing 6 months, a year in advance of where we actually are, as in foundation wise. We set up the foundations exceptionally well. So getting to that point isn't so out of perspective because we have already set up to build it to the $100 to $500 million company. Very easy to go to that $1 billion mark.
So on that point, you guys are friends, right? There's no other
family friends, yeah.
Family friends, okay. What I'm really curious about is we meet a lot of business owners who are in a similar boat, so they're not related in any way. How do you keep the same dream? Like when you first start, you have a dream. Then someone normally thinks a bit bigger than the other person.
Yeah.
How have you made sure?
Very easy.
Okay, tell me.
Without ego. If you remove that ego and you encourage each other to push each other, to challenge each other, because one thing I know is that anytime he says anything about the business, it's to get the business even bigger. Anytime I say something about the business, it's to get it even bigger. So if you remove that ego and understand that's the root core of why they're saying, it's not going to disrupt anything. It's not going to cause any problems, but rather you're going to, okay, I understand that. Let's test that. We're very comfortable to test new things. And so that if you remove that ego first, which is normally the only issue is the ego. It's not the actual
That's so true.
problem itself. It's removing that ego and understanding what's the root reason they want to change something or increase, because we're here to get HiSmile to where we know we can get it, and that's in his mind and that's in my mind. So it just makes sense if we ever have an issue to get HiSmile bigger. So
do you ever like fight each other? Like do you ever punch each other? Or? I'm just quite curious to hear. What about when those robust conversations? Do you have those?
But again, of course. But it's that mentality of, okay, I understand. I'm going to sit down and if I analyze why, because we understand what the business is, where we want to get the business. So it has to do within that.
They're usually the best situations when Alex has a strong point of view in one
Super
direction
strong.
and I have a strong point of view in another direction.
You are
going to come up with the absolute best idea for the business.
So much.
Because he's arguing his case, I'm arguing mine, that all of a sudden you come to the conclusion. The reason a lot of people fail is because it hurts their ego and it hurts the other person's ego.
Because it's like, I want my way to win.
That's the only
But
thing
that's because the business isn't top of mind. It's them. It's selfish. For us, it's never been selfish.
Crap.
We've got our personal brands. We push our personal. But it's that selfless act where regardless, we're here for the same purpose, to grow HiSmile. I'm not here to grow myself. Alex isn't here to grow himself. That's where a lot of people get it wrong. They go, I want 51%. They've got to have 49%.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's purely ego. There's nothing else to that. And it's almost like we encourage to push maximally from both ends. And from that you get ultimate growth because you're pushing each other so much. But as long as you know that, as long as you know to remove that ego, you will have infinite growth, success, whatever you want. And we encourage it almost to challenge each other and push and go further and bigger and more and just.
And it's again that thing where it's back to when we say like talking to your people and your staff, and you've got to be genuine. You've got to actually care. Like I actually, like when Alex has something positive happen that doesn't, I don't, like it didn't happen to me. Something positive. He won something. He got some money. He made some money elsewhere. Or he did something else. I actually feel happy for Alex. And it makes me feel good when it happens. And that you can't fake it.
And that's a culture that, like, if you live by that and stand by that, then it can only be prosper. It can only be prosperous and growth and.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
This is amazing. But when you guys met, like before you even started, did you know that about each other, that you...
We knew we had that very similar way of understanding things, understanding people, and like every time we brought up whatever other companies or other big businesses, why they succeed, like we were very, very, very exceptionally good in just understanding people, understanding the market, understanding, okay, what does it take? It takes the culture. It takes so much more than just having a good product. Like that is the most microscopic thing to a successful business. That's just one factor. So it's like you have to have everything else, which is the culture and the positive and the foundations and the understanding and doing and actually working. Like working, that's the biggest thing that everyone, it's like you get everything else. It's like, and they do it to have that 4-hour work week or all these other gimmicks and stuff. Let me tell you now, it will never happen because all you're showing is that you don't stand for what you're selling or what you're doing. That's the only thing it stands for. So you have to just, like, if you have that thing that you're so passionate about, everything else molds, everything else just forms and it works and you grow and you get bigger and you like, it's that mindset, it's that infinite mindset. It's you have to have a big plan and big goals and always having that culture there to push that same path. So
That's freaking amazing. I wish I could like had a little bottle and I was like a genie and I could just put you in a little bottle and carry it around with me.
But it's nothing like I'm not saying anything like there's nothing complicated.
No, I think it's simple. It's so simple.
It's the opposite of what everyone thinks. It's
Yes.
thinking clearly and simply is the easiest way to succeed and to get whatever you want to. Like, there's nothing complicated about it.
Oh, that's freaking amazing. Thanks.
Which is opposite to what everyone normally hears. Like, there's all these. It's very, very simple. Have that clear mindset and understand what you stand for.
Yeah, people definitely complicate it, I think.
Yeah,
Complicate. They complicate everything.
and they romanticize about like this is brand new businesses coming out onto my. This is just me talk.
Yeah.
Brand new businesses coming out to the market. They put so much emphasis. When you look at it from this point of view, it's like they put so much emphasis on the stupidest little things that don't even matter, and they put all of this energy and like they're so like restrained because of it. Like, you have to release that. You have to just be going and moving. And like, we're at a point now, we are so comfortable to say every part of it, like to open up about our business, because we know the true mindset is that the brand and whatnot, which cannot be competed on. No one can take the idea of HiSmile. You can't take HiSmile. There's nothing to even pay. Like, you can't patent it, but you can't take it. So it's like, build that first and foremost, like focus on that. And you don't have to worry about all those little tedious things that so many brand new business owners, they focus too much on, I believe.
No, that's true. With our Filter Global business, Efren has been jumping on me because we've got a learn page. So I was trying to take your advice of you're like, go out and make content and make it happen and do videos, things like that. So we'd been thinking about this and I'm like, well, you just got to do it. And so we've got this page ready to go. Like, it's ready to go. It's got my podcast on there. It's got things. And I'm like, every day, can we launch it now? Can we launch it now? Can we launch it now? And everyone's like, it doesn't matter. Like, no one cares. They will care eventually. But it's not like you're so worried about the timing. Yeah. And I'm like, you can't release it on a Monday. No one cares about Mondays. It's got to be on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Which are so
irrelevant to the big picture.
Yeah, that's what he is like you. And I'm like that person that's going, no, but it matters.
But it's easy to default in the other stuff because that's what we're being told.
It is.
That's what everyone's telling you.
You know what? That's the only thing stopping you from growth and further push and understanding. Like, you might not even know who your true market is. Like, who are you selling that until you actually put it out there and see what it gets, see what happens. That's the thing to be super romantic about, is that reaction to that. Not so much, is that the perfect piece of content put out on the perfect day with the perfect message. Like, you can't.
I can't think like that. I can't worry about it.
But you have to sacrifice like that. You've got to push from both ends. You have to.
No, thanks for that. Good work, Efren. You're staying strong for the both of us. All right, so turning around from the social media, and we've been talking about business. Everyone, I mean, there's a glory story. I mean, it's a great story. But also, everything that you read about you guys is positive. Like, you just keep growing. What have been some of the toughest times for your business?
I think it was the mindset. So when you start the business, it's easy to do what Alex said, and it's easy to focus on what the others are doing. For example, influencers. They've taken an influencer that we used. Oh no, the posting times. Our mindset wasn't always this. You get stuck.
Yes.
Everyone's locked up. You're chained. The moment you break those chains and those chains and you purposely move in the other direction, you purposely do things other ways, is when you grow, not only as a person, but the company grows. So the moment we switched our focus, so this is how it works in the teeth whitening game. Every other teeth whitening company is focusing on us.
Yes.
But we're also focusing on us.
Right. So you're not worrying about, do you just try not to focus on your competition
Not at all.
That we don't try. It's like there's nothing to compete.
The thing is, we have
a solid, we have the number one biggest brand in teeth whitening.
So everyone's wanting to be you.
Because we're not focusing on teeth whitening.
Well, if you think about any industry, the winners always focus on winning. The losers focus on winners.
Oh my
That's
God.
the difference with the first and the second place.
Bottle you two up.
Yeah.
Whoever's winning is focusing on themselves. They're not. Because if I focus on beating Colgate or beating Oral-B, I will beat Colgate or I will beat Oral-B, but I won't beat the other company that's coming up behind me focusing on themselves because they're the best version of themselves. I'm the best version of Colgate. So to be the best version of yourself, focus on yourself, focus on you.
So you don't.
We've done.
So just so I ask, you don't know who. Like, if I said who's your top competitors, would you even know who they are?
They're nowhere
even close.
Even close, but it doesn't we are
We don't seek inspiration in terms of marketing, product development. We don't seek inspiration from other teeth whitening companies. We seek inspiration from Apple, Nike, McDonald's, because those other companies
that's
are
what
relevant.
we say if you want to say competing, but we're not.
That's the
competing.
competition.
Like,
You want to be the biggest. You want to be the best. Like Apple's the best at being Apple. Nike's the best at being that. HiSmile wants to be the best at being
and
HiSmile.
you can grab their foundations and bring it to whatever you are doing.
Because it's easy to get in
It's
place.
the foundations that have got them to where they are.
Yes.
It's not the fact they have the iPhone or the fact that it's the fact that they have the foundation set better than any other company. And like Nick said, they can bring out any other product they want because of that.
Yes.
Because of the foundation. So if you build yourself on that, look at what foundations have the absolute top companies got, and you mimic that. That's when you.
That's where you should
win.
play.
Yeah. So that's who we ever really look. Okay, how are they acting differently? Not ignore what they're selling. That doesn't really matter. But they act differently to everybody else, and because of that, they're so like Nike, McDonald's, Apple. All of these, they have the same foundation set.
Okay, so if you were to meet people, they're the people you want to meet.
Absolutely.
100%.
And like if you're thinking competitor, that's who we look to compete with. That's who we're looking to be at the very elite, at the very top, because only with that mindset can you ever have like infinite growth, infinite like prosperity, and just further your business on and just grow it. Like we're so addicted to just growing the business and growing what we stand for and just adding to it and more people to be part of this journey and more customers. Like we love that whole thing and we create every single day because of it.
Wow.
And the thing is, like, there's a lot of people who say what we're saying, but it's irrelevant what they're saying. It's what they're doing. A lot of people say because they read from someone else, focus on yourself. And it's super easy for us to stand here and say that. But it's like, watch the actions, and the actions actually mimic what we are saying. Like, we literally do not care one bit about another teeth whitening company. I don't lose sleep. I don't stress. The reason I don't stress is because we're competing against us. It's us versus us every single day. And the only way you beat yourself is by putting the business at the top of mind, being a better version of yourself every day, and always looking to grow.
And let me tell you a very cool secret. When you have that mindset and when you think, it actually benefits you when more of the same type of companies try and build themselves around you. Like when there's more teeth whitening brands trying to come out and enter the market, they're only doing one company a favor. That's us. They're bringing more attention to the idea of teeth whitening. Now, what happens then? They then start to look and see, okay, who's dominating this market? Who's doing something different and creating and playful and So in actual fact, if there's a million teeth whitening companies, it actually benefits us. Everyone's like, oh, is it so hard now with so many different brands trying to copy? It actually works in our favor. That's how beneficial this is, like what we're creating. It actually works now that more other companies are trying to do what we're doing.
That's awesome.
And the same way with Apple, the more people try and bring out phones, the more attention it goes to phones, the more they win, and they like people are then bringing attention to that market. So it's like they're just doing the marketing for.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've been doing these interviews, and it's either Skype or FaceTime.
Yep.
So I'm like, I don't even know what's the other company, Samsung. I'm like, I don't even know what it's called, because I'm just like, you either have Skype or FaceTime.
Yeah, you don't know.
What's the other one? I don't know. What is that?
Samsung time.
Yes, I know. You just assume, don't you? You assume everyone has an iPhone.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you have an iPhone?
Exactly. You're crazy.
And it's funny, like when someone brings up the idea of another phone or another, it's like a debate happens. It's like, Jesus Christ, these guys are the masters at like, just because of the way that they have set up their foundations, not because they have the best product. Absolutely not.
No.
It's the furthest reason why they are the best.
No, I know. Okay, cool. No, thank you guys. This might be an interesting question for you. If you could travel back to day one, so the first day of your startup, first of all, where were you?
At home.
You're
Just
at
when we conceptualized the idea?
Or maybe
actually started?
No, you actually started.
Oh, it would have been at home. In
At home.
Our kitchens, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Whose house?
It started at my house, then we moved to Alex's house.
Okay.
Just out of the dining.
Yeah.
So your dining room?
The
yeah.
floor, the table, whatever we could, like maybe a table like this size, picking, packing, sticking, fixing addresses, customer care, everything.
Everything. Okay.
All of it.
If you could go back to that day and you could see yourself, what advice would you give yourself looking back in retrospect? If there's any advice that you would do differently?
Think positively on every single matter and just look at yourself only.
Do you guys have coaches? You don't have coaches?
The thing with us, like, this is a unique thing about us. We don't put anyone on a pedestal. Like, we don't look up to anyone. But at the same time, we learn from everyone. So this is where a lot of people, they go, oh, you've got an ego. You don't have a coach. You don't look up to someone. But it's like, you're actually the one with the ego because you're looking up to one Bill Gates. But you're refusing to learn from the person who owns a cafe who's not making one single sale a day. It's like, that's just as important to learn from them as it is to learn from the top person. So for us, you reverse it. It's like, oh, you've got an ego. You don't look up to someone. We don't look up to anyone, but we learn from everyone. So that keeps us in check.
Everything as well. Like everything. We break down everything, and we both have that one trait where we do it extremely well. Like whether that's whether someone has a concert, it's like, why did that concert work, or why does that cafe every single day gets like, you can break down why, and you can just you can utilize the tools that they've done and bring that. It's the foundations. It's never got to do with anything in particular, but they stand for something, and they do something on a foundation level better than anyone else.
So do you listen to podcasts? Do you read books, or is it more
so just from actions of from life? From life, and just really breaking it down and trying. I think it just happens naturally. It's not like I sit down, oh, that cafe does that, right? It's just like, okay.
I was picturing you doing that.
No. It's just but it's a 24/7 thing. Like I do it. You just
constantly,
no matter what it is. Whether we even look at sports teams and break them down. It's like they are a business, and it's like, why do people literally fight to death for these sports? Like anything, you can think of anything you want, and it's like you can get so much from it. So it's like when you ask the question of who's your life coach, it's like everything and everybody. Everyone. And that's without an ego. It's like I listen to it, but I bring that within what my moral and what my own foundations are.
So if someone tried to give you advice, that deadly word, so if someone came to you and went, I've got some advice for you, would you be like, nah, I don't know you, I don't need to hear it? No. Or would you be like, okay? I
would listen. This is the thing with everything, whether it's religion, someone's opinion on anything. I've got no bad feeling towards anyone. They're publicizing on TV about religious debates and political election, like in America and things like that. It's the moment. Nothing against advice as well, but it's the moment that someone starts forcing somebody down your throat and tries to convert you towards something. You believe what you believe and believe it to the fullest and live it that way. As long as you are not harming anybody else, and second, you're not trying to make me become that. That's cool. You can tell me that you should do this with your business. You could tell me that the color pink doesn't work and blue could work better. That's fine. That's your opinion. But the moment you start hassling me, nagging me, and trying to make me become that is the moment I'll just cut the cord and I'll have to be blunt. I've got advice can come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. People obviously have a strong opinion on what they believe. But the moment someone tries to force that down your throat and tries to make you that is the moment I
switch off.
I switch off, and I absolutely have no interest in, for me personally, with my beliefs, with the positive lifestyle, I've got no intention to inspire, motivate people. The reason I don't have intention to inspire, motivate people is because that will come naturally. If someone gravitates toward me, they're the right person for me. But I don't set out my intention. Now I've got a personal page where I post some content and documents and stuff that I do with the business, and put out some of the stuff that have helped me get to where I am in HiSmile. But I have the one thing from day one, I have no intention of teaching someone, of building someone else's business, on being motivating to them or an inspiration to them. Because the moment I do that, I lock myself into that character. But I want to be me. So I'm going to portray me in every single way, shape and form that I can. And if they gravitate towards me, so be it. If all of a sudden I lose them, I'm not looking to chase them.
Yes.
If I had one person who listened to me or who loved what I was about in my character, I would be happy.
Yeah.
But I'm not going out of my way to inspire and motivate. And
so how do you do that with your friends? You've obviously got to be quite protective of that
circle.
Yeah, but your spirit.
Yeah.
Business, everyone thinks business is easy. It's not. It's ebbs and flows. And the more that you're trying to break down walls, you're going through things, and you've got to protect that positivity and your culture and who you are as people. How do you make sure that you're quite careful? Is it you don't expand your group, or you've got your group, or how do you make sure that your friends are on the same.
We've got a tight knit circle, so we speak to a lot of people, like you said. People give advice. They ask us for advice or opinions. We do give that, but in terms of who are truly our friends, and truly our family, it's a tight
circle.
Circle of people that we spend time with, and they're people like us, people who have same values as us, people who because we're growing in our business and we're successful in that respect. They're just as successful in their lives, whether it's financial, positivity, happiness, growing, whether they do charitable things, whatever they're doing in their life, they do sport, whatever, they're happy for us and we're happy for them equally. It's the moment that you see that shift and they've got an intent that's different to what they're saying.
Become inauthentic.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
And have you noticed that? Has that come? No.
Because it's so close.
We've got
it's so close.
We keep it pretty close.
It's always just
I've got no interest with going out and meeting new people. I'll be friendly with everyone.
I know what you're saying.
And they've got value for me, and I can provide value to them. I'm more than happy. I'm happy with everybody. I've always come out, I'm not arrogant. I come out with a positive frame of mind. I'm always there to listen. But in terms of when you call someone your friend and someone who you can speak to and someone you can believe in, it's the person who speaks highly of you. There's a lot of people who face to face, Nick's a good guy, but then behind your back, they stab you in the back or do anything they can to get one up. And that's not a friend. So that's why it's important, I think, to keep your
inner circle close.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because that's been our challenge. We opened up in the GFC deliberately. So we did what everyone told us you don't do. Right? So, and we did it for two reasons. Is we were always taught by our CEO who opened up in the financial crisis in the 80s, right? Was you go out in a recession because you learn the value of money and the value of relationships. Yeah. And you know if you can succeed or not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You put everything on the line. So we had a mortgage, both had very high paying jobs in very well known companies. We're like, oh fuck it, we'll just literally, okay, see you next day. We just open.
Best way to do it. Yeah,
we'll go for it. But what was interesting through that stage, and it's really good that doesn't sound like that happened to you, but to us it was, because we worked from home, as well. Because we were like, why do we pay an office? We're in the people business. We go and see people, right? Oh, well, now that you're business owners, you can pay for a lunch. So we would literally, it's just expected that we pay for everyone's lunch if we go out. Friends, family, and, because they think that you're not working, can you go down the road and pick me up this? Yeah. And you're like, no, because I'm working. Yeah. Exactly. And so the biggest challenge for us is the more that people perceived success, I should say, it was very hard for our friends just to be friends.
But the only ones you're ever going to lose are the ones that weren't friends in the first place.
That's true. Oh, well.
That's the only ones you ever
okay, well, our circle's really small.
But it's just the way, you don't have to have 100 different friends. You can, as in close friends. It's all about really locking in, finding people that really stand for the same thing you stand for on a personal level. And that, generally what I think on a personal level, I bring that out on a company level also, and on a grow and where we want to take everything. You really just transfer what I believe, and I'm sure Nick's the same, is we just release that out into, and that's what's really formed HiSmile. Is we have our beliefs on a personal level, and that's what attracts us to the same thing, and then from that we push that into HiSmile, and that's really what's given us the growth, is by always standing by that.
Okay. So what's next for you guys? What's the next plan? Is there another product? Is there move to another country, or what?
No, we have another product launching pretty soon. We're really taking things to another. I can't really say too much, but we're taking things to another level. Absolutely.
So how will we be aware of this product? Is it through Instagram?
Yeah, social media. through
Facebook?
Through all of our
everything.
social media.
It'll just come out.
And we'll find people through our targeting, Facebook. Yeah. If anyone's not following us, they'll hear about it through our influencers and people are going to engage with. So
so watch this space.
Watch this space for sure. So we've got a lot going on with the company. We're relocating offices. As you can see, we're confined and constricted with space. The marketing office is literally just boxes. But new space, new product, and the business is, definitely progressing towards that $1 billion mark pretty quickly. So looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So a couple of quick questions. Mm-hmm. What was your last photo that you took on your phone? Do you know? Do you have to
Okay.
check your phone?
I actually did a video today because someone asked a few questions and it was quicker to get back by video. So that's not a photo, but that was the last activity that I did on my camera
On your
roll.
phone?
Yep.
Yep.
So it was a video answering some questions.
Where
Yeah.
I had a photo shoot for the new website and for the new product and what, so I took a photo of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make sure we check it out on your website.
Yeah.
What do you spend a silly amount of money on?
Food. That's my only expense. Food would be
Really?
yeah, ridiculous. Like that's the only thing. Every single
Oh my
meal
God.
is almost every single meal, other than maybe a
Yeah,
Friday
it's
night
true.
where I go to my grandparents, and the odd meal that I'll
At home,
eat at
yeah.
home. But usually
That is so true.
breakfast,
We
lunch,
eat-
dinner, snacks is an expense every single time. I can't cook, so
Yeah.
that's the
I
other
hear
thing.
you.
Like the mechanic thing. Like, do I
Jesus
value learning?
Christ,
No, I
yeah.
value good food, so I can't cook. So I'd rather pay for it.
Yours is food. What about you, Alex?
Food as well. Probably shoes.
Shoes. Okay. Sneakers or
Yeah, sneakers. For me, I just like new shoes. So I just every month or 2 months I buy pretty much the same shoe.
you just keep wearing it?
Stupidly.
No, sounds like someone else I know.
New kicks.
All right. So if you could only spend 2 hours on your business each week, what would you do? And you probably have different answers.
Yeah.
I don't
at
know.
at the level it's at now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right now.
I'd spend it with each and every person in this company.
was gonna
I'd
say
spend
exactly,
time with them.
with the
So I'd spend
people.
whatever, divide 2 hours by the 20-something people we have.
Yeah.
I'd spend time with
I
every
swear
single
to
person.
God. That's
Just having a chat.
That's what you do.
Yep, 100%.
That's a fantastic answer. All right. And lastly, our first step questions. What's some tips for a small business to grow or a business to grow a loyal following?
Stick true to what your brand is. So understand what your brand is from day one, what the why is, what you're trying to achieve. Don't think financial. Don't think product. Don't think even your industry. That's too limiting. Think big scale why. Like, what are you standing for? And then everything else can correlate. When your customer care team is responding, it's a certain voice because of that why. When you're developing products, it's a certain type of product because of that why. When you're posting content, it's because of that why again. So figure out your business's why and work back.
and actually push that content out. Actually do it. You know,
Do
like
it.
you're saying, like don't care about the exact time on this exact day, the exact piece of content. Just push out content. That's the most important thing that everyone really has troubles with starting out. It's like push. Just do it. Get that piece of content out. Let the world react to it.
Great. Okay. Fantastic. And lastly, I think you already answered this, but we'll ask it anyway. If a business was looking to hire a social media specialist, in-house or agency, what questions would you suggest to ask?
So I think
how would-
first and foremost, definitely in-house.
Yep. In-house first.
Well,
Go in-house. Yep.
So then you can really be part of that. That's if you have to do one.
Yep.
What questions?
So if you're not going to, like you said earlier, you really should be doing it yourself.
Yeah, well, I think like I wouldn't ask a set of questions. I would understand the platforms myself that I want them to obviously be on.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the questions, I wouldn't really ask questions. I would more let them know what our brand's about and then give them the freedom to express that in their style and their way. And if they're the right person, they'll do it. If they're not, they're either one, you didn't explain the brand well enough, or two, they don't have the skill.
Yeah.
And it's about the only way you can judge that is by you understanding
knowing.
your brand and
Yeah.
you understanding the platform. So
That's
think,
the only way, yeah.
first understand, and rather than asking questions, tell them what your brand's about and let them know what your brand's about. Let them be involved in the culture of the company and the people around the company and understand what you've done previously, and then see what they can express in that voice.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much
Awesome. Thanks,
for being on
Nerissa.
the First Step
Thank you.
podcast. It's awesome.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the First Step podcast with Nerissa Chaux. For more great stories on those who took the first step to change their world, subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. See you next time.